Try. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Sorry about that. A little late Monday start there. Got started a little bit late today. That's fine. Um, we'll just jump right into things. So right now, Monday morning, typical Monday morning in December, right? We did have a little bit of data. You see right now the biggest movers on the board are the pound yen at 227, dollar yen at 133. Everything else more or less flat. Again, pound, a little bit of strength coming in. European weakness. We talked about that last week. Pound dollar up 44. Dollar CAD down a little dollar weakness in there. Um, the reason we have the two bigger movers on the board is what are you doing, Kip? What are you doing? Whoa, you're gonna fall over. Careful, buds. Um, we got some data, not data, but comments coming out of BOJ, basically talking about how they see little need to end the negative rate in December. They mentioned it. We heard it. We'd seen that strength coming back in the market. Does that mean it's not going to happen? Hey, stop. No, I just think that the timing has to be right for it, obviously, right? They plan to reach a decision based on the data, up until the last minute. Now, I don't think, here, Kip, here. Hey, you want this or no? Here. Off sisters play. Nope, we don't step on it. Mm-mm. The last thing I'm going to do is break a sister's iPad. So I do think it eventually will happen. They will end in negative interest rates. They've made some comments about it. The market was ready for it. We saw big drops down last week, but the question is it going to be here? It's kind of the same thing, right? The United States said that they are going to cut interest rates. Does that mean next week? No. Does that mean in 2 months or 3 months? Probably not. But we don't know when. It's just a question of when it's going to happen. So it's the BOJ is kind of in the same area, and because of that, again, because they said, "Oh, we're not doing it yet," when I think a lot of people thought that they were, you're seeing the 130 and the 225. Now today, not a whole lot out there. We have the bond auction coming in, and then tonight we have Bullock speaking. Obviously, Bullock speaking could provide some data, some selling features, right? Tomorrow, tomorrow we have claim account early in the morning, and we have the, again we mentioned pound strength. We have the average earnings index dropping a little bit, right? We'll see. It's probably going to be factored in the market right now already. So here, here, go play. Here, I opened it up. Go play. Go ahead. That is busy. The claim account, I think, is the big one. We'll see whether or not they're truly in that recession or not. And then tomorrow morning, we have all the CPI data coming in. Now, CPI on a yearly basis, again, being at 3.1 on a yearly basis, doesn't really tell us a lot. That's just the change in that year. Still above two, not quite back down to where it needs to be. And the question is, again, we've had a lot of slowing this year. And this is compared to last year where we still had a little bit more momentum. On a monthly basis, showing that there's been zero change. The core amount, though, and again, we see this every time, right? The core amount is actually showing that there was an increase this time, right? Now remember, people look at this. This is the headline. People are like, oh my God, it's as low as this has been. It's 3.2. But on the back end, the core items of things, right? Again, remember, core removes what? Food and energy, right? Food and energy. Well, what do you mean by energy? Gas. So we know the gas prices are cheaper than they've been for a while. In fact, the United States government just said that they are going to buy 3 million barrels, huge amount here, 1% of what was used, right? 1%. They're going to buy back some oil from the strategic oil reserve. So again, with oil down at 70, obviously that's a big drop. Again, that's probably why we're seeing these two numbers come down based off of where things were. But when you look at the core number is going higher again, right? And we've seen this before, right? Last time there was a surprise that it went down and now it's ticking back up. So it's kind of like, well, you know what? Did this not really drop? Was that consistent last time? Will they adjust that up to 0.3 and will this stay at 0.3? So some big questions out there. And, again, this is the danger of using this. Oh my God, look, CPI, we're back, right? This is not really the best gauge because, again, when we were surging forward, well, it's less surgy now, right? So we got that one, but that'll come in tomorrow morning. And I mean, who knows? Maybe we need to keep it here a lot longer than some people think, or most people think, right? And it's going to take time to work down. If we do nothing, will it get there? Yeah, it'll go there over time, sure, right? But looking at the core, when it removes food and energy, we know why this is lower. It's because of energy price. No, I don't think so. No, I think it's showing Neuro that it's there. I don't know. I may have turned around for a second just to see what Kit was getting into. he's getting into a lot. So, um, but yeah, so we'll see, right? Overall, I think the CPI will be an important kind of topic for tomorrow morning. Now, as far as looking at the VIX, we got a nice little gap up, but really, when we saw it decline on Friday, we're kind of going back up to where it's kind of its stabilization point was last week. Right now, everything's in the green, right? It is up 5.8%, but what does that mean? If it's green, that means there should be a lot of volatility, and everything's all the indices right now are technically in the green, so we should see this start to tear back down again. I think that kind of makes a lot of sense today. Again, being high, you never know what's going to happen over the weekend. Um, there's a lot, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. Russia making some comments. I guess been a bunch of Hamas soldiers. That was like basically getting stripped and paraded through Israel, right? And I guess that's standard practice in the rest of the world. But I feel like if we would have taken people here and stripped them and paraded them through the streets, I feel like people would have had an issue with that. But I guess that's common practice overseas. I don't know. Um, Yeah. But Putin making comments that, the West domination is it's gonna be over and soon. Um, who knows what that means, right? So there's no way to know. But anyway, I expect it to tear back down again. Dollar, again, what are we doing? Still playing with 104, no not much difference. We had the big pop up, the big retrace, it went right back up to the origin to move, and then just rode the line. All Sunday up a little bit more, came back down, touched it again, kind of went up and is pulling back down again. So, it's there. It's definitely there. Um, so yeah, indices, again, NQ, biggest mover on the board, up point 0.2. You got ES just a little bit flat. You got YM up just a smidge. And then Russell. Russell is red right now. Excuse me. But we're at 1880, right? We're talking about 1800 being a big deal. So we are above that, which is good, right? We look in the commodities realm. I mean, the dollar basically flat, not doing anything. Commodities, look at this natural gas one right here. 1085, right? Down 10.85%, almost 11% down at 230. That's insane. 230, right? Gold, what is it doing? Below 2000, right? 1989, I believe we had that pointed out before. And then 2288, right? Again, some big movement there in gold and silver. And we talked about that last week, expecting them that, we'd have the dollar strength kind of roll back in early this week. But the natural gas is the big surprise there. And the crazy part about natural gas, right? We actually had snow flurries. It's 42 right now, so I mean, it's getting to be I don't want to say nice day, but it's getting to be a nice day, right? Yesterday was complete junk. It like poured all day. It was supposed to come in at 11:30. It's like, all right, I'll take the boat out at 9:30, and it was pouring rain at 9:30. And then this morning we actually had, I don't want to say snow flurries, but it was like, you could say it was like an extremely light dusting. Like cars, you could see a little bit of snow on there. Like the railing on the deck, you could see like a little tiny bit of snowish, slushish on there. And that, and the response to that one is 11% down in natural gas. So it just goes to show you how much fun, natural gas can be. But gold and silver, I think, are the two biggies. And it's not like the dollar is exploding, right? This is the dollar basically going sideways. And again, gold's down at 0.7% already. We just started the day. Now is when, you know, Monday morning when the U.S. session comes along, that's where gold typically gets, or the dollar starts getting its strength from, right? So now is when we should start to see, some strength roll back in as people are talking about this, especially with CPI tomorrow. Um, so yeah, yeah. But again, I saw this morning. I was like 11%. Wow, that's a big move, right? Um, yeah, gotta love that one. All right, so let's go down. Let's go over into the currencies. So last week we were talking about this one. You can see on Friday we pushed here. We came all the way down at 9 o'clock. We kind of rallied back up, and again, a nice little grab came all the way back down again. And then Friday, about 12 o'clock, we ended flatlined, nothing. Right? Sunday kicked in here, really did nothing, came down, and we talked about this. And I haven't touched this chart since last week, right? Since Friday. And we mentioned, hey, listen, look for some basing in there. Well, I'll move this out of the way so you can see it. Does that look like a lot of basing? Yeah. So, I mean, we're getting the basing this level. We may want to adjust it down a little bit, but right now there's no more momentum. If we have a typical, Monday morning, we should see some dollar strength rolling back in. That's exactly where it is right here. So it should start to push down. We have the base. Right now we are kind of forming more of a kind of a top side. Maybe we see it bounce up a little bit, but overall, we're looking for a short opportunity here, and we're looking for this to push all the way back down and come down to the 65.27. So right now, nothing. It's really got to start moving a little bit. I mean, really, since last night at 8 o'clock, it's not moved. It's been stuck. So we really kind of need that momentum to kind of roll back in. Yeah. So as far as Um, yeah. So again, we're getting this. We drew it. It was kind of right on. We need to see a little bit of movement. So look for a push in either direction. Again, could it come back and grab, this area here? Yeah, potentially. Right, potentially. Um, so yeah, yeah. Overall, I don't mind actually. I like the 62.27. I think we beat this one up enough. Um, sorry, my name got tagged in something. I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay. Wasn't important. So yeah, ideally, I'd like for this to continue to push down. I think could we use this tomorrow for all the inflation stuff? Sure, sure. Again, I think the core rate could go to point 0.3, go back up again. But if everybody sees the the year over year CPI number, which again not that important, um, if that comes in here and maybe it comes in as a 3, and people are like, oh my god, the Fed needs to cut next week, right? We're at 3. That could be a nice little takeoff point to the top side. So overall today, I'd like to see this push down. Get ready for the news. If it comes down to 65.25 or 27, I think that could be a nice little pop for tomorrow. Okay. Aussie Yen. So Aussie Yen did a little bit more. You can see Sunday we kind of ended here and we kind of came up and we just based. We just got stuck. Overall, we talked about another level up here, and you can see that's kind of what we're playing with right now. Um, we kind of had this little jump at like 3:30 or 2:30 this morning. That was associated with the yen comment, and it went up, and we're kind of stuck there right now. So, this is out. We talked about it. We didn't have enough room for it. Sunday kind of wasn't there and kind of pushed up. But unfortunately, the reason here, and I'll show you why it didn't really reason why it didn't really work is because it didn't come up and end there, right? It came up and it started to form an area of buyers right below the zone. So it formed buyers here. So yeah, it did hit the zone, but then it had buyers here, and that's really what kind of made it take off this morning. So again, a slight adjustment over the weekend. You should have done your homework on that one. Now this one did push a little bit higher. There's actually a green candle up a little bit. It did not get up there. Um, Overall in this one, let's see. We were actually looking for a pop up and roll with that one. Hmm. I like this one down. Again, we know this is an emotional response to what the BOJ said. That's why it popped up again. And again, like I said, here, I feel like this one's trying to go lower. Also running into, and again, not great sellers. There's a 50% there. There's a little bit up at the 61. It's an area, again, this is a big push up, right? This was a news burst. So we would typically, you would see it kind of pull back down to the origin of the move, which is sitting right there. Um, Not really a great, I think we adjust this one. The red, green, red kicks in there. How many pips is that? 15. Let me see something. 12. Something along those lines. Looking for a push down and then come back up and grab it. Again, we have a red, green, red, so we know there's a reversal change. There's a little bit of buyers in here. We may see a little bit of a tick up in this one, but then we should push all the way back down. And I know this one is not straight. There you go. All right, so we have room for this one to run to the downside. So overall, not a bad little push. I'd like to see it kind of come back. I'd love for it to hit here, so kind of do one of these. Right, looking for one of those. Right. And again, if it just goes all the way down, no harm, no foul. Right. Yeah, I'm good with that one. All right, so this guy. Let me see here. So it did come back to the origin of the move. We had drawn that the other day. You can see 10, we drove down, and again we pushed back to the origin of the move. Found the same sellers. You know, what do you want? You want to come up here? Come here. Just don't want you to burn yourself with the coffee. Uh oh, what happened? Come here. You want to sit up here? Watch your feet. Oh, come on. Oh, oh, come here. There you go. There we go. All right, you situated? Are you good? Are you good? Um, yeah, right now, I think we let this tier back down. Again, we talked about the 107.28 last week. It touched it at 9:30 ish from that kind of news burst on Friday. I think we wait for it to go down and reset right now. As you can see, we talked about this, and that's exactly what it's bouncing off of right now. Um, in there. Mm, yeah, I think we wait for it to reset. Look for some type of a basing level down here, and then we'll get a better idea of where it needs to be. Right now, it's again, we've talked about kind of the bracket. It's just going sideways. Again, creeped up a little bit in the overnight, push back down again. And overall, it should push down. I'd like to see where the bottom is, and again, maybe trade this one for news. But as far as today, I don't think euro dollar is a great setup for in any direction. Euro pound, again, we're still. The good thing is we finally did break through the two lows here, right? Um, so overall, again, decent push. The top side on this one, basically, what 2 o'clock this morning. We are sitting at the very top of that channel. Would you have traded that one? I don't think was there. Did that come from a thing? No, no. Preliminary machine tools that was just not going to move it. So no, this is just again the market resetting itself at this morning. So nice push down. We talked yesterday, or not yesterday, Friday, 85.46 or 85.47. So close, right? Um, yeah, I think 85.47 is a potential area for a reversal in this one. It has pushed down overall. I do like the pound over the euro in this one. And again, I'm wondering if the unemployment rate and then the economic sentiment. The forecast is supposed to be lower for the forecast. So really, tomorrow there's two different factors down here. Man, I'm wondering that unemployment rate. We looked at that already, right? Yeah. Question is this 7.6 too much? Right. Well, the unemployment rate here. Um, they mark it as nothing. I mean, remember the United States. We just saw our unemployment rate go up by 0.2. They're expecting no move in this one, which means if this, even if that's just 0.1, say it goes to 4.3, would that be in line with what we're seeing in the United States? Yes. Average earnings index going down. Don't love that either. Both of those would be more weak. So the question is, do we come down here and we have two zones, 85.47, and we have one just a little bit lower than that too, 85.29. Right? I think both those have the potential to be a long from here. And like I said, it could be here, right? Again, it's 10 o'clock. We're probably going to flatline pretty soon. Um, hmm, hmm. Oh, oops. Okay. All right. Sorry. Um, it was a note from Jin's teacher. I was like, oh God, what's going on? Sorry. Okay, yeah. She was getting I think it was she was getting up and the boy was sitting down. She banged her head, had to go to the nurse, but they were like, "Nope, she's fine. She has an ice pack on it right now." Yeah, little kids. Gotta love them, right? We're gonna bang heads and the world's ending. Anyway, I think either of these two areas are decent levels to kind of turn and reverse. Overall, I wouldn't be surprised with as much movement if the market is trying to set up these releases here. Of the two, we kind of called for that. The big question is what will happen here. And if we see a red, green, red, I'm sorry, a green, red, green off here, this could be a nice little reversal point, probably bring it back up again. But with 2 hours left, they're probably going to start running out of steam rather quickly here. Euro yen, same thing. We were looking for like a Sunday push here, and unfortunately, the Friday push kind of came up and we went over. It started the base in there on the high side late last night. It didn't really give us much in there. So again, it was kind of more for a pop because of the yen. We didn't really get the same type of pop. We were in here and it's popping up, so I would assume this one also pushes back down again. Right now, there is a small level above. We could potentially use this for news tomorrow. Again, we know we have this news coming in, the economic sentiment. Easy enough to mark this one off so we can get kind of a better idea. We'll see where it adjusts. Right now, we're about 100. Excuse me, we're about 100 pips from that level. It does have a 150 ATR, so it tends to, it tends to move. Um, what I think this one has going against it right now is we have this green spike, and again, this should be more like that. This green candle here was 102, right? So 102 pips up. You can see that it's kind of doing its own little Harry Potter. I think it pushes back down again. I'm wondering if it kind of stabilizes somewhere in here, right? Probably somewhere in there. What are you doing? Don't like that. Oh, stop. No, no. You want watch your play. Don't play with the microphone. Stay over here. I know you're looking for the other thing. Here, stop. He doesn't understand the microphone fully. Like he plays with it, but stop touching. He's at that stage where he doesn't understand stop or no, or don't do that. You can get down. You want to go in the other room? Or you want to sit on daddy's lap? You want to sit on daddy's lap? You don't touch. Yeah, terrible twos. I just said no. He's like a one-track mind. He's gonna pout. So yeah, look for this one to push back down again. You're seeing a little bit of play here. This is basically because of the proxy of the end with the U.S. market open. So yeah, it is what it is. As far as trade, potential trades, I think again right now, if we look for this to kind of push up, I think 158 will be an area where we do have sellers coming in. It's got some space. It's got a grind up there. It's kind of a big level. You can see that there was the red, green, red in there, and again having the 158. I think we start looking at, for sells in there. The problem with the downside, and we could draw fibs on this if you really want. Like we could draw it from here up and say, okay, look at that. There's 23.6. Should we buy from there? Yeah, technically it is a 23.6 now level now. It is in here, but we know this was an emotional response. Is there an imbalance in there? Probably. I think if anything, look for the target there. And I think, yeah, it's potential, but understand for us to draw the fibs there so the 23 lines up like that, all perfect like that, right on that black line. You're using this clearing candle and then kind of a second clearing candle. So not the best. Um, Ideally, you don't want to use something like that. You'd much rather use a bottom like this, not like this, but it is what it is. So, maybe we push back down and maybe this is the point to drive it higher so we can get European weakness coming in. Um, we'll see. We'll see. But I do think it does tear back down again. I think the yen strength evaporates. But as far as trade setups go, not really interested. Like I said, we got about another 60 pips a jump. It's got a 77 pip 4-hour ATR. So if it does push up again, we could get the reversal signal in here. If we push back up and then just kind of stabilize here too, I'd be looking for more of like a long type position coming out of this news. And again, this is economic sentiment. The forecast is going from 9.8 to 8.8, so it's already expected to be a lower number. So we'll see. Again, European Union, I think they're the first to cut. Again, they weren't as high as everybody else, interest rate wise. So that, there's less reason to have money there when you could have it in other places. Um, but I think they're the first of the majors to actually cut. Pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar. Again, we rallied back up. We said, hey, listen, there's your target. Take your profit out. And again, you wouldn't have held it over the weekend. It did push back up. It did just run into the 25.80, right? And again, that's where the touch was here. You're in it now. Right there. And your 1 to 3 is sitting right there. Now that may be a little bit deep. I think we may have some problems in here, right in that level, right? I think right there is going to be a spot that we need to use caution with. You can see though if it can chop through and clear that, we should be okay to get the full 1 to 3 in. But at this point, you're two over. Um, oops. She's a drama queen. I'm just gonna say that. Um, yeah. So she's like, "Do I need?" She's like, "I need to come home." I'm like, "No, you don't. You're fine." Um, I'm that parent. So yeah, you're already in this one. Again, it's 14 for 40, basically like 40 ish, probably 42, 43. But we should be okay. Again, we got to clear this 1030 window, so make sure you're trailing this to the downside. Pound yen, again, the same pop. Again, kind of the same thing. We're looking for a punch out. Again, here's that like late Sunday night thing, and what do? We're basing in the level, right? As soon as you saw this piece right here, again, whenever we see basing before the level, it tends not to be the best way for us to kind of reverse it because it's building up buyers. Had this one actually pushed in here and then pulled back to grab that level like that, would not have been surprised whatsoever. It just based in there, right? It formed this base, and then this was Friday to Sunday, and then kind of went up, and then all of a sudden the data from the yen came out. So again, not really the opportunity that we want. It is approaching a level that we have. Actually, we pulled this alert off before. Do we need this alert anymore? There's a zone there. I mean, it's not a great zone, right? You could draw this and say, "Hey, listen, there. Look at the green right there." Yeah, you could have drawn that one, and it was backstopped by this old level. But let's pull that confirmation off. That was to the downside. And again with the buyers in there, I'm almost more looking at something like this. This one. Here, I'll just use it. That's 20 pips, so something along those lines. Right? There's your base. There's a nice little emotional pop. We love those, right? Could it here and go higher again? Sure, absolutely. Sure, absolutely it could. Right? But if it does start to come down in base, bringing us back to the origin of the move from the Japanese data today, there's the origin of the move. Right? So delicate. Look at all the chop in this one. We even talked about it. Like, are we interested in taking shorts out of here? No, not really. It did Harry Potter, right? It did do the Harry Potter, but very choppy. Up, down, more basing, more basing, more basing, more basing, more basing, more basing, and then try to pull back. So, I think right now we look for the 6 to 1 8 target. Do I want to go long off there? Not really. 15, 20. So much chop back and forth. Ooh. I think. So. Hmm. Honestly, I'm wondering if we can get all the way down to. I mean, this 135.22 level is not horrible. It did push it kind of deep. I'm wondering, and again, there's not anything clear here. I'm wondering if today turns out to be a negative day and we push down to like this level right here. Oh, crap, I forgot it. I can pause it and then like I'm wondering if we go there, right? And the reason why is with that 135 and then having the news tomorrow, the CPI data. What if the CPI data comes in strong, right? What if it shows? I mean, again, the core is going up. Nobody's actually looking at the core. Um, yeah, I'm wondering if it's a reversal. I'm wondering if we're looking for the reversal with news. Yeah, yeah. I think right now, let's play this one to the downside, or not play it, but wait, what? What are you doing? What? What? Here, you want it over here? Well, I don't know what you want. Do you want to sit on my lap? Is that what you want? Okay, you're gonna bring all your stuff up here. Okay. Okay. Oh, come here. Um, yeah, I think we look for potential reversals over here. As far as trade setups go, I really don't like any of these levels over here. Very choppy back and forth, very sideways in movement. I think 135 gives us a little bit of a benefit, being that big kind of 500 number. There is a little bit of a Harry Potter down lower. But for the most part, again, I think no, no, come on, no. You can have all this stuff, but you cannot pour it on the keyboard. Come on, get it out of the way, please. Here, here, leave it over here. If you want to dump that stuff out, then you go play over there, not on the desk, please. Um, with this number, there's just so much in here, and again, it's forecasted to be more dollar weakness. I don't think it really makes any much difference. The core inflation number is the one that I care about, and that's actually supposed to go higher. So, we'll see. Um, yeah. So I think we look for those setups. Pushing this down now today gives us the ability to take the pop tomorrow, which I think makes a lot of sense. Dollar Swiss, we're sitting high. You can see here was that psychological number on Friday where we punched through. We grabbed that higher level. It didn't go from the higher level. It did. It did go past the 1 to 3. I don't know why we didn't adjust that to the top side, but let's pull these off now. We're still using that same level up top, and again, it's kind of a big level. You're seeing it push back down again. And again, this is looking like again a red, a green, and a red. It's not closed yet. If this candle closes in 20 minutes down below, should signify a trend change. Now, with this kind of whipsaw, this big piece up, big piece down, big piece back up again, always harder. And again, there's a new level here, but a new level lower. The question is, have we started the new downtrend? Again, the Sunday night is not the time to look at that. But right now, are we going to push back down? And now, are we going to run 40 pips down? It's got a 59 pip daily ATR. 49 pips brings it to the origin of the move from Friday. Again, this one definitely had some whip back and forth again. And I don't think anything's really great with the Swiss. There you go. 2 hour, 2 days ago. Sorry. The Swiss depreciates from a 4 month high, right? Eh, we're up there right now. Again, high on the curve, looking for shorts. I'm not using that level. It's already been used before. But we are putting a new red, green, red, and it does look like at this point we will have a confirmed trend change. Now, with that said, if it pushes down to here, right? If it pushes back to the origin of the move, there's all that same data, right? Again, we can mark this off to see what kind of levels that is formed. Could it potentially come all the way down to here? Yeah, it could, right? And there's actually two different levels in here, but could we push down to here? That is an easy run for tomorrow. That's 49 pips. It's 59 pip daily ATR, so plenty of room. No. Mm-mm. Stay right there. Okay. So yeah, it's fine. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, it looks like everybody else. Again, we're sitting right here. We knew really didn't have much in there. Here's what happened on the Sunday night. It just kind of slowed down. Again, we got the nice surge up, and you can see there was a level there. We had 146 there. The surge punched through it, and again, it's not really, we're waiting to hit that level in a non-news release. So with it surging through, you can see now it is pulling back, and it's using it as a base. It's trying to break back through it to the downside. I think we can. We talked about this last week. I don't know why this one didn't save. Um, Still 25 pips. It's still a lot. Not quite a mirror bottom. It's pretty close though. Hmm. We need to see it. I mean, we are getting the basing in here. Obviously, the basing is coming. We need a break below to kind of push it down. Um, You're making a huge mess. We're gonna pick all those up when we're done too. Um, Again, this goes with the narrative that again, if this continues to deteriorate. Um, yeah, I like this narrative. The downside. Am I interested in taking it off here? No, there is a red, green, red. So I mean, you could say, okay, listen, I want more retest. And we kind of did get the retest off of it. I think there's actually a red, green, red. Right, red, green, red. Close below. Confirmation. Um, Problem with this is with 146 right here. This is going to skew a lot of things here. Um, because it's going to add buying and selling being near that 146. I do like it down. Um, I think it's going to take a few shots to go though. So I think again, here's where your profit target should be taken. Wish I literally wish we were sitting like here in the middle, right? If we were not at the 146, this would be much better, a much nicer setup. Overall, I think this does have the ability to push down. Again, it is kind of forming like a Harry Potter based trade. It has put a confirmation in. It has pulled back up a little bit more when we're looking for those bases. That's what we want. So it's got all the right stuff here. It's just the 146 for me is just kind of messing it up for me a little bit, you know. Yeah, kind of messing it up for me a little bit. So we'll see. I like the push down. Let's go here. Let's see what we got in oil. What is oil doing? Oil doing a little chop. So we were talking about it coming up, and it did Monday morning. It kind of was up here. We were looking for more of a push. It ended up grinding its way back up before pushing back down again. So it came in. We were looking for 72. We got it to 71.81. It was funny. The article that I got that the U.S. is going to purchase 3 million barrels. Again, that's 1% of refilling the strategic oil reserve. You know, in the article, it talks about how the government, the strategic oil reserve sold oil at $95 a barrel, but they're going to replace it now. They're in the range, below 70, right, or in the 70 range is where they want to buy it back at. I'm like, that's not a bad short. Selling it at 95 and then replacing at 70, that's not a bad deal, right? It's a good job, right? I love how they were very, they sold it when they released it, they sold it for $95 a barrel. I'm like, oh, so you were helping us out, or you were helping yourself out? It's funny how that kind of when they put it in that context, it's like, oh, when you said released, you didn't just put it on the market for free. Oh, I thought I didn't realize you were profiting right from that whole situation. Um, you can see right now it's kind of chopped back and forth. People aren't sure what to do with it. It's down a little bit right now, slightly in the red. And again, kind of stabilizing. I would say right now we are consolidating. There are also obviously buyers in here. Buyers here are more or less flat. So I mean, it looks and feels like we want to go higher. Again, overall, I think this still has room to run to the top side. Again, I like it lower. I'm good with that. If we want to go back below 70, I'm all on board. No problems with dropping through that 70 mark. But again, we tend to see more of it in the more of a rally in the U.S. session. But I think right now there's enough competing factors out there that this one is having some issues, and seeing it kind of chop back and forth. We'll see. I think a big piece of this too will be CPI tomorrow, right? That core number, if they talk about core a lot, talking about energy prices and how cheap energy prices are, I don't think that's a bad conversation for tomorrow. And I mean, yeah, it's important to point out, but I think that's why the CPI being lower is this. Seeing the core number creep up and be positives. I mean, you know, I'd be extremely happy. Well, let me get rid of this. Too much. Too much. Too much. If this core number on a monthly basis was what the CPI was here, if this was zero, I'd be extremely happy. I was like, okay, maybe it's working. We're good. But seeing the core number stripping energy out and seeing this continue to rise, being positive, it doesn't sound like to me like it's working, right? Right? Because again, strip the most volatile items out. To me, I mean, we were at point 0.2, point 0.2, point 0.3, point 0.3, point 0.2, and they're expecting to go up again. Does that look like it's working to you? Because to me, it doesn't, right? So that's why seeing numbers like this, it's like, oh, look at that. We're flat. We've got nothing, right? And it's expected to be zero. Yeah, because they know that energy prices are down, right? So, yeah, it's this core number that it's like, okay, we'll strip the volatile fuel cost out. It's raising still. So, I think if they talk about that, they mention fuel. I think this has the ability to go higher. And again, if anything comes out of the Middle East, I'm still expecting. I didn't see any major headlines, but I'm still expecting some. So natural gas. Natural gas plunges 10% as forecasts see mild temperatures. Every day it's mild temperatures. And then it'll raise back up and they'll be like, because of mild temperatures. Again, nice little Sunday gap here. We actually get, and we even mentioned this, talking about, hey, listen, if we gap past, that would be good. It did. It actually opened down here in a level, gap past it, ended up using that level. So, that was a huge gap. We were looking for it to gap kind of here and then go higher. It went past the level and then used the level. So we pegged the level correctly. It just used it and then just continued to deteriorate. So yeah, we didn't know which direction it was going to go in. So right now, again, I think leave this 262 up there. That's fine. I hope we never hit 262 again. And pushing this big, again, driving this from the top to bottom here, you can see we definitely have an area right here that I think we should be cautious with. If we're able to rally back up to that level, I think we hit this one with continued shorts at basically 239. Right, 239 ish. We could kind of shrink this a little bit, but again, so I think 239 is the next area we want to short on this one. We'll see where the bottom goes. Again, it's so funny. Mild temperatures, like, yeah, we had snow. That's the snow that I had this morning was as much snow as I had all last winter. So I mean, I'm already ahead of the curve. But again, mild temperatures. Mild temperatures. uh, Natural gas up 10% because mild temperatures. It just seems like mild temperatures is the answer for everything. Right? Transitory, right? Disinflation, mild temperatures. So yeah, but again, I'm okay with this, right? I got gas over here a couple weeks ago, like 270. So I'm good with this. I won't need this till springtime, but I'm good. I'm good. Gold. Look at this. We were looking for a call back down again. It ended up punching past. So on Friday, it did go higher and then kind of flatlined on us, and it's continuing to push. So, we mentioned 2000 would be a big deal. We say, we'll see next week. Maybe there's a little push up in preparation, but the market's like, nope. And we did. Look, I talked about it being kind of a little more push and then slowly coming back down again. It ended up going all the way down till 12. So it reversed very, very quickly. But when you do this, you can see right there. There's your kind of 5:30 morning early push. And yeah, it was more extreme, right? I called for a push up and a push back down again. It was more of a cancel. It was a push up here, and then that's where kind of the push over, right? It was more of that push. Actually, it was there and there. So I was a little bit off on it. I had one hump too many in there, and I thought it would stabilize above and then crash through. It actually crashed through, and then what did it do? Came above, came back, used it, and continued to push lower. So I'm good with this one. 1985, much more where it's supposed to be right now. I think that's great. We got out of the zone, and again, we were all sitting up there forever. And look, gold moves lower early as U.S. inflation data and the Fed rate decision. They're pushing it, and again, I think this is where it belongs. I thought this was insane. And again, looking at this now, when you see this big kind of spike where it went all the way up to 2150, and we're all the way down here. Does that look like a normal reaction or like somewhat of a a fat finger job on that one, right? Right. It'll come around the news to be like, oh, Bitcoin investors decided to make a run on gold to help jack Bitcoin. This is what that looks like, right? Kind of like a pump and dump strategy, right? Right. We were having such a hard time getting through here, and I was like, oh yeah. And then one day, not even one day later, it's like, bam, all the way back down again. And now we're crashing through and coming back down into the 1950s. So, yeah, Um, I'm good with this one. I fully agree that this one needs to be short. Could there potentially be a pop tomorrow? Sure, there could be if people suddenly think, oh, that's it, they're cutting interest rates in January. Um, I don't think that's happening. I don't think any data we have will show us that. But who knows? That's the market maybe will be like, yep, that's it, we're going there. So we'll see what the push looks like. Silver. Silver doing the same thing. We talked about getting short 22.98, and there you go. It is pushing lower. That alert did go off. There you go. There's your base right there. Whoops. Sorry. Grab the wrong one. It's this one. Right there. Your 1-3 is sitting right there. So again, silver is kind of where we talked about. We talked about getting low between 22.98. It kind of based there, came back up, and then boom, red green, kind of a red green red, but again, it tagged it over here and is pushing lower. So yeah, I mean that alert. You can see it went off. So yeah, yeah, I like this one. I think 22.50 is where this one probably belongs. I don't think we can get all the way to 22 by tomorrow morning. But again, I think gold and probably silver because it's a little bit more volatile. It should be down 2% right now, not down 1, because typically it will do twice what gold does. With this pushing down today, I'm kind of looking and see. We'll even just tag it tomorrow. Tomorrow 8:30. I'm just gonna put it here. I'm kind of looking for this to kind of have a pop, right, off of the news tomorrow. Why? Because people see that CPI and be like, that's it. They're going to cut interest rates. It's low, right? I just feel like that. I feel like the market loves to completely ignore the core data, even though the core is really what we should be focusing on. And even from the beginning, Bernard was even talking about it. They're like, oh, the core data is what I mean, she said that a year ago. Remember her? Remember her? She's going to be the next one in charge. And we haven't heard a peep from her in, I don't even know how long, 6 months, 8 months. Yeah, magically, all these people that got promoted don't speak anymore. Right? I don't know how that works, right? All these appointees, right? Right. Yellen, when she talks now, it doesn't even register as a color. Harris hasn't said anything forever. Bernard, again, hasn't said a peep, haven't had a headline, nothing. You're next in line, and then hasn't said a peep in 6-8 months. So I don't know, kind of surprising, but yeah, I think core. I think this gives us a buying opportunity tomorrow. Overall, I do think it belongs between 22.50 and 22. So we'll see where that one pushes. Look at Apple. Love it. And here's the news 4 hours ago. This just shows you how manipulated the market is, right? Right. Apple stock eyes new record high after 0.% gain. Can growth continue to go? And then what happens is that article came out 4 hours ago. It's like, heck yeah, Apple at all-time highs. Yeah, baby. And what they do, they bought it at the open. And what happened? Through the floor. I love when they put that stuff out. Look, it's hot news. Look at this. Hot news. Can growth come back in 2024? Analysts predict 250 4 hours ago, right? Look, analysts raised price target to 250. Forecast is $4 trillion by the end of it. Like, stage set for renaissance of growth, right? They published all these articles. And what does that do? Down 2% today. I love that. It's awesome. It's awesome. VIX, we talked about it going back down. What is it doing? It's starting its descent. Dollar, again, talked about it creeping higher. It's the U.S. session. We're starting to creep higher. We're trying to punch, trying to play with these sellers here. So let's see what we got here. Let's drop this down. Get a little movement there. Yeah, typical Monday morning problems. Yeah, it hit it. I mean, here's a Friday level, which you don't want. This would be a green. I'm just going to turn yellow just for ease of purpose. Typically, we're not doing this in Friday numbers. I mean, it's a 1 o'clock on a Friday, so it's all right. I mean, here's the overnight kind of test of it. I wouldn't say there was a lot of trajectory on it. It did touch it this morning. So could you have gone long? Sure. But the problem with this one is obviously you have sellers here. And again, these were kind of Sunday nights. And again, the same confirmation that we had here, we had the same confirmation here. So there's not really room for 1 to 3 either direction. The opening print candle is probably the green. Yeah, it's the green. Right, you had the red down and then the green touched it, but there's just not enough room 1 to 3 either way. It's very, very sideways. And again, you can see it right now, 0.01. It was 0.0 a second ago. With CPI tomorrow being such a big deal, I think this is, again, very hard day to try to be playing the indices just because, again, with CPI, everybody's going to be trying to prepare and look for it tomorrow. It's like when we have a Fed rate, the next day, you're like, what are you going to do the day before? Watch paint dry. And that's kind of what it looks like right now. Again, we are sellers here and we're seeing some red print in, and it is 10:30, so we should see it pull down. But again, those are not bad buyers there either. So again, as far as opening print goes, yeah, there was a confirmed level in the overnight, but there wasn't the 1 to 3 range that we typically like. NQ. Okay. Um, NQ had a better one, but I don't think you would have got really necessarily. You would have missed the entry by a little bit. You can say, listen, there's a bunch of basing right there. We kind of came down and we touched it right there. We missed it though. 9:30. This green one here is the 9:30 candle. It obviously went past the 1 to 3, but kind of the same thinking. There was a level sitting right up there. Again, this is Sunday night, Friday to Sunday. Is there 1 to 3? Not really. It did pull back beforehand, so you were looking for a long, and it punched up, and now it's kind of punching back. So, it didn't. I would say this one would have been a no entry. It did not hit your basing level. It was a better confirmation zone than what ES had, but it also had a zone that, again, technically was in the overnight Sunday night, that it kind of ran into, and again, it pulled back from that. So you're like, oh, is there sellers there? But again, did not hit. If you did get long by some chance, again, you did fine. It went up and now it's pulling back again. Again, it's the strongest on the board, but if we decide to kind of pull back into where we were, this one should deteriorate pretty quickly. YM, there was a YM trade. Again, there was a level here set from Friday. And this one had a 3 o'clock kind of open, 3 o'clock base, but you got to look back, and then there was the confirmation of it. So this one did trigger at 9:30. You can see it did get out. Yeah, by 9:45, had pulled all the way back down. It's funny, you had pulled all the way back down, and now you're pushing all the way back up again. So this one did actually trigger from the overnight. And it was actually here. I just used this to form the base. But this one, again, because we had these two confirmations, we were looking for the 9:30 push. All right. So yeah, that was fine. Actually, this was an early one. This was 8. Russell. Look at the drama in Russell. So first off with Russell, you may say, what is this yellow? We talked about on Friday, we're kind of stuck between this kind of rock and a hard place. We mentioned that on 10:30 where that reversal was, we had the bottom piece. We pulled back at kind of like the 50% mark and then pushed back up. Kind of went back in the same sellers here Sunday night and then pushed back down. And we're kind of still sitting in that 50% mark. Look at the open today. This red one right here, I'll make this big for you. Here's where price was. Is there any buying or selling right here? No, not really, right? Because you got all this. It's going lower, so it shouldn't hold to the top side or the bottom side. The top side, is there anything here? There's 3 here, and then the next confirmation is all the way up top. Are you taking this gigantic level there? Kind of big. I mean, if you did, you were fine, but kind of a big level. Again, it's easy to go hindsight, like, oh, you should have sold, but nah, it's kind of a big down and close there. It's a lot of indecision, right? Literally that candle goes from here all the way down to there, right? And if I had to box it off, that's how much movement. Whoops. That's how much movement you have. So all this was whipping all the people out, and closing the exact same spot. It's called running stops. That's all it is. And then it went down, and people were like, okay, never mind, it's negative today. And then went back up and like, okay, never mind. And then straight back down again. So a lot of indecision in Russell. I feel bad that anybody was trying to play this one at the open today, because it just wasn't in a good spot. And again, open, close, and that's what your high to low is, wiping everybody out in both directions. Again, all it was a lot of indecision. So again, opening prints today, the only one I really liked, and again, I had that one drawn already, was YM. NQ, again, didn't really pull back. ES, again, just not enough room to run from a 1 to 3 in there, so a little bit more difficult. But overall, again, it's a typical Monday. Again, you're seeing some of these really start to level out. 5, 19, 9, 13, sucking in, and this one, technically, it's 36 up, but it's been tearing back again. It's that dollar strength rolling back in with the U.S. session coming online, which we talked about. Again, the two big players are the yen. We know why. It's the BOJ saying that there's no real need to end it in December, but that doesn't mean in January. So again, once that psychological kind of gut shock is out, we should see that to continue to push to the downside. So it is what it is. Pound edges higher ahead of UK-based data. Yeah, the wage growth for tomorrow. So yeah, whoops. I'm going to click this. Overall, I think tomorrow will be pretty decent. Like I said, the claim account number I think is good. The average earnings, the unemployment rate being 4.2. If it goes to 4.3, I think we're going to see some pound weakness. So with it creeping up today in a positive manner, would not be surprised tomorrow if pound yen is negative. And again, pound dollar negative. We'll see. And then obviously the data here. My belief is core is the only one you should be looking at. But if this comes in at 3.1 or if this comes in at a 3, everybody and their brother is going to be like, look at that. The Fed is done. They should cut all the interest rates right now. We don't want to do it. I mean, that's exactly what we're going to hear tomorrow. I don't know, maybe on a monthly basis, maybe this is a surprise and we pop the 0.1 or 0.2 and the people are like, don't worry about that one. The Fed's looking on a yearly basis, right? It's going to be any denial that we possibly can tomorrow to not look at the core number. So who knows? All right, with that, let's go ahead and do our drawing for today. We got 4 tickets in. I will give it to we'll do it to 4. Give it to 4. Come on, buds. Yeah, you hungry? I think you want to eat. You want to eat? Okay, can you tell everybody bye bye? Here, say bye bye. Good job. Good job. All right, let's close it down. Winner of today's drawing is Neuro. See, Neuro? I told you. You don't listen to me, right? 6 is your jam, my friend. 6 is your jam. I didn't say anything, but 6 is your jam, right? You took out Ernest's 10 tickets, right? I'm telling you, there's magic in that number for you. Magic, right? You get your 25, right? There you go. Ernest, I'm telling you, you got to mix it up. Got to mix it up. That 10 is not working. So, all right, with that, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go feed the little one. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Time. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you then. Take care.